First, between Jordan Waters and Callum Highland. Callum won the first game, meaning that he progressed to the next player in this three-way playoff, which is Debbie Lyons. Debbie won the next game, and now we've got a third. So think of it as a best of three between three players. Whoever wins this makes it through for their block, which I think is Block G. Joining me in the commentary booth is Jack Rush.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
So, I think, just getting my bearings, that Debbie is just hit with yellow, and she's heading to, I'm going to corner 2. Given that black is still on off court, I presume this is their turn. So, and she's gone out. So, I guess this was a pretty standard opening. Debbie went in with red, east boundary. Callum went with the defensive option into corner 2. There were a few responses to the standard opening with red. Do you want to? I'll just shift it across. Are you sticking around, Andrew? No? Oh, all right. All right. Thank you. All right. All right. I am now the tech team, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so the pretty much standard good start is if you're the first ball, you go in east boundary, around about where red is. And then I'd say, without getting into some of the other alternatives, there are 2 ways that I like to think about it. One, you have an attacking option and a defensive option. So the defensive one is the one that Callum went with, which was a ball into corner 2. The more attacking approach is to go to the duffer ties. Do you have a preference if you're a second, like if someone goes to standard east position, do you have any preferences? Like, is there a type of play that you prefer,
Yeah.
Jack?
So obviously, I came out through the qualifier, so I'm still pretty new to Association Croquet. So I usually went with the defensive option, just shooting 6 inches, sometimes 10 inches outside of corner 2, figuring that if my opponents do hit, they may have a slightly tougher time getting going. Probably just set a leave, and then maybe I have the opportunity to try to hit it with that 4th ball.
Yeah, that's a good point about the 10 inches south of corner 2. So if you're shooting into corner 2 directly, it could make it easier for your opponent later on to get a cannon out of that. So that's something that you need to be mindful of. And in general, Jack's approach is, I'd say, the one that a lot of players, both experienced and inexperienced, should follow. Just in general, play a percentage play, given these lawns are, having difficult conditions. You can obviously back yourself on more attacking plays, but the safer option tends to be just play a little bit more defensive.
Yeah. So it looked like Callum took the long shot from corner 3 with black, hit red, and has now taken off to corner 2, where he rocated blue, and trying to get his rush on yellow.
Yeah. So this one, I probably wouldn't have done that, and I'll talk you through why. And as it ended out, it worked well. I think Callum's line of thought was that if he hit, which he did, he'd be able to bring red into the lawn and use it sooner than later.
Yeah, that's a great rush.
And he's played a great shot, so now this is the perfect start here. Now, his reason being was that if he has red in the lawn a little bit, he can pick it up and bring it up to corner 2 and set up his break earlier. I probably would have gone shooting at the ball in corner 2, simply because it's the closest shot. And I want to minimize the distance between the ball I'm playing. And as such, I'm quite happy to hit that ball in corner 2 and get the rush that he took to hoop 1 and then repair it afterwards.
Yeah. So I had a few situations like this where I was able to hit it with that 4th, where I've made hoop 1 and I have a backwards rush on the ball I made hoop 1 off of. So, Greg, what line of play do you usually take here in this situation?
Sorry, I was just putting in the score. So which scenario was that?
So you score hoop 1, you have a reverse rush back towards the south boundary. You do want to hit that ball. So now do you do a roll over towards red?
Yeah, this is a good question. So I'm pretty certain that Callum's going to do a roll. I'm happy, given where red is, to do a roll as well. If it gets a little bit closer, let's say red is maybe a yard closer to the east boundary and yellow is perhaps another 3 yards closer to hoop 2, I would think about just taking off. The reason being that there's potentially less room. So Callum has got a nice rush here.
Yeah. Oh, that yellow
So
ball.
that's good. But imagine if
yeah.
red was another yard and a half closer to the east boundary. Black might have ended up going off the lawn.
Yeah.
So in this case, I'm happy to take that as a roll shot.
Yep.
But I'm kind of thinking about, at the end of the day, maybe a takeoff might be simpler if reducing the distance between red and
Yes.
boundary.
So Callum opted to rush the red ball off the boundary. And so it seems to me that he's probably going to go over and try to incorporate blue into this break.
Yeah. Given that he's able to take off from this point, he's got a couple of options. He's got red to pick up as he runs through too, so I'm pretty certain he's going to run this pretty hard.
Yes.
Pick up red. You can also that's not a great shot, but given that he's got an angle to put this towards the peg, he might opt for that. He might decide to play more of a defensive option. That's one possibility where he puts this towards the peg and goes in front.
Yeah,
What would you do if you were playing black?
I probably would have tried just to play the rush to the hoop rather than the boundary.
Yeah.
I feel fairly confident with my ability to hit. Mostly play golf croquet.
Yep.
So I would have tried to just get a good hoop running shot. Try to run that hoop and then hit that ball, try to incorporate it out.
Got it.
Then maybe try to get the rush on the ball that I croqueted past hoop 2.
And that's
probably would have been my approach.
Right, and that's an important aspect of playing AC and GC. In this case, AC. You should gravitate towards skills that you're more confident in, and then stick with it. There are players sometimes, especially if they're beginning, they are often in two minds about what they're doing. And that's okay, like if you're learning, but at the end of the day, if you do play an option, commit to it. That's the option I went with, rather than be in two minds.
Yes. So really important that Callum gets that rush back north on yellow. A lot of players would probably get about level with yellow and then maybe having to do a reverse takeoff. You really want to try to approach the hoop from the playing side versus the non-playing. Little unlucky there. But not too bad. He should be able to handle this relatively easily.
Given that all the balls are now in lawn, assuming he makes 3,
Yep.
he should be able to generate a lead from this. Any tips on what Callum should be trying to set? Any options yourself that you've seen players take for setting a lead?
So I mostly have seen diagonal spreads. I did have my block match with Andrew Johnston. He did a new standard lead, which I actually tend to like a little more personal. I did do one diagonal spread in block, and I actually left the wire on the peg ball open from about 10, 11 yards probably. So I actually struggle more with diagonal spreads than I do with new standards, which might seem a little crazy because I think diagonals are probably easier to set.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's the option that most players will take if they're beginning. I would say probably 80% of the time I'm setting new standard lead.
Yeah.
But on these conditions, I've been happy with diagonal.
So Callum scores hoop number 4, and he gets his rush back towards yellow, excuse me.
Are you going directly to yellow, or would you cut this up to blue? What do you think?
No, I would try to rush red, probably a little bit south of the peg, and then I really like my stop shot, so I would then probably stop shot at getting close to blue. If I can get a little bit north of blue, and then maybe rush a little bit south, getting a little bit closer to yellow, then just be able to control my approach to yellow a little bit better. I really want to make my shots as easy as humanly possible. I don't love doing really big rolls.
That's a good mantra to have.
Or very long takeoffs.
Yeah, in general, if you are playing AC and you're thinking of improving your break play, I definitely recommend just what Jack said. If you can, as a general rule, simplify your shots, gravitate towards that. So what is a simple shot? Well, playing a pass roll is not a simple shot. Playing a stop shot or a drive and a rush, those are simple shots, right?
Yes.
And I try to gravitate your game towards that if you can.
Yeah, I would strongly recommend, what I've heard is the perfect break is where you don't have to hit any roll shots at all. I think AC does require to be able to hit some degrees of roll shots. At some point, you're going to have to, most likely.
No, but you're 100% right. If you can aim for that, I'm just rushing to a spot, playing a drive, making a hoop, rushing to a spot, playing a drive. That's kind of the ideal situation.
Yeah, life is a two-back pioneer with opponent ball. I've always been taught that you should try to do it with a partner ball. So
You're right,
I'm not really sure. And Greg, you could probably provide more insight. Why would you ever do your early two-back pioneer with an opponent ball versus a partner ball?
Well, I know Callum really well, and I'll say that he likes to do break play his own way. He's got his own particular style, so I can't really speak for the reasons why he has yellow there.
Okay.
Maybe we could ask him afterwards. But definitely, if you can, you want to put the partner ball at two-back. Do you want to talk to our audience about why that's a useful thing?
So the minimal knowledge that I have, it's just that because when you, if you were to make partner, one back off of partner, typically that one back ball is your pioneer for a three back.
Yep.
And you really want, when you're doing your leave in AC, you want the last ball you want to hit is your partner.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes it, my understanding is it makes it easier if it's that two back pioneer versus obviously one or three.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so that's it. Like that's again, that leads us back to what Jack was talking about before, which was keeping the game as simple as possible. Yes, it is possible to put your opponent ball at two back and figure out a way to get the other opponent ball to three back and get your partner to the correct place so it's the last ball you play. But sometimes things don't go to plan.
Nope.
And you want to minimize that.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that in your break is to put your partner ball at two back as a standard option if you're setting a leave.
So Callum has gone through one back now, so he has given up a lift to the block. It looks like he's getting ready for a diagonal spread here.
Yeah, it's probably, I'm going to hazard a guess that it will be a diagonal, but we might be looking at potentially closer than you would expect between the two balls. That's my guess. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, given that Callum tends to prefer that option. And it looks like, apologies for those watching, that the score is not updating.
Callum does have 7 hoops. He does not have 1. Not sure why it's not updating yet, but Greg is on it. He will, I'm sure he'll be able to figure it out.
Entering numbers and pressing enter, but not getting much. So I will get back to you on that.
All right, so Callum has taken off from red, and now he has a little approach. All right, Callum has scored 2 back, and he's now got a northward rush on yellow. I would imagine he's going to try to cut this to the peg. Oops, center ball.
Yeah, so we don't have a 3-back pioneer.
We do not. I think he's going to roll these up, and he's going to try to maybe, roll up, hit red, and take off to position behind blue, and rush blue to 3-back is going to be my suspicion.
Yeah, okay. So we've got, my prediction was right. The 2 balls are close together then, is standard. This is slightly unorthodox. And I do wonder if maybe he's not going to make 3-back, or potentially he's just going to make it after already setting this. So for those back at home, this is probably not the set standard way that you would go about setting a diagonal. And the reason is that basically, as a rule of thumb, you want to be making your last shot, as Jack said earlier on, off of your partner ball. And you can't do that if you make hoop 3-back with partner ball and then take off to repair something. So let's say red and yellow aren't wired. You make 3-back, you hit partner, you put partner in a good spot, let's say. But then you have to take off all the way over to red and yellow, repair things, and maybe you wire them, but then they're open, let's say, on your partner ball, right?
Yes.
Which is typically why we're not going to be doing that when we make three back. We want to do it off opponent ball.
I think Callum's gonna. Ooh, he's doing a takeoff here. I am a little surprised by that.
I would say that given that the takeoff that he's making towards these balls indicates that they're probably open.
Oh, and ran into
Yeah.
red.
Yeah, so this is not exactly ideal.
Yeah.
It's, of course, it's possible to fix this. Callum's a good player. He understands touch and such, and he'll be able to repair this, but it's not really the percentage play that Jack was talking about beforehand that he prefers to play, which is a little bit more defensive, which is if it's riskier, you might pull it off 8 out of 10 times, or 6 out of 10 times, but those other 4 or 2 times you mess up unnecessarily.
Yes. Yeah, we just need to update it. He's at through 9. So Callum opted to go for a crosswire at the peg. So to me, it's almost basically like a diagonal spread, except the western half ball is not as close to the west boundary as it would traditionally be. But this is still pretty effective.
Yeah, so you've got 2 balls in the lawn, and sure, it's again, it's wide, but the trouble is now he's left a double from B-Borg.
Yes.
Also, he doesn't have a rush in lawn. If you're not going to have a rush in lawn, that's okay. You might send a ball defensively, but if you want to do it defensively, typically you want to separate your partner ball, like your balls, by, let's say you put one of them just outside of corner 4.
Yes.
And your partner ball, maybe it's just where blue is. So let's say we put black into corner 4 and blue where it is. Why would you do a leave like that? It's a fairly dry leave. You haven't set yourself much, but you're also making it difficult for your opponent if they hit.
Yeah. So I know one of the golden rules of making leaves is what I was taught is you want to make it easy for yourself if they miss the lift, but hard for them if they get it.
Exactly. And you can bring that back to pretty much any scenario that you're in. You can equate basically if you're giving something away and you don't get anything out of it, then you might rethink your leave. So
Yes.
let's say it's a 1v2 situation. Some people might not know what to do if they're the two balls. So typically, as a rule of thumb, play relatively defensively. Reason being that you've got everything to lose with the 2 balls, and for a single ball, you can just hide wherever you want and then hit. And then if you get... Okay, let me give you a scenario. So let's say you set up a scenario with the 2 balls where you've set a leave and your opponent's maybe 15 yards away. But if they miss the leave you make and you're not guaranteed to finish, then you've unnecessarily put yourself at risk.
Yes,
right?
correct.
So you've got to play more defensively. And if you're the 1 ball and you're shooting at somebody's leave and you do hit something and you can't get anything out of it, but if you miss, they will then finish, that's a bad risk to take, right? So you've got to be able to optimize like not only what you get, but also what your opponent might get out of it, which is what you were talking about.
Do you like this choice by Debbie to shoot from A-Bach? Or do you try to make a double at a B?
Given the flatness of these lawns, I probably would think about shooting from B-Borg, but again, it's about my rule of thumb is how big is the target that I can make. So if maybe a double right in front of me by 2 yards is going to be a larger target than maybe a single ball that's like 7 yards away. But maybe a 20-yard double is not as close as, let's say, a 13-yarder, right, that you might be taking. And
Yes.
you can also equate it's not just how large the target is, but also the more time the ball travels on the lawn, the more potential that it could hit a bump and fly away. So On these lawns, I probably would still consider just taking that double from b-ball.
Yep. So Debbie took the shot with yellow, just missed a little bit. So now Callum will maybe have thoughts of a third turn, or not a third turn, I guess a fifth turn triple. Or is it sixth turn? I can't remember.
This will be
Is
sixth
it sixth turn? It is sixth turn, you're right. So Callum should really emphasize maybe getting that rush to one right now.
Yeah, so if he can get...
Because you got red in that middle of that lawn. Ooh, candidate into black, that's tough. But
So-
you could still make this work.
So, yeah, a little bit unorthodox. I'd say that this, again, harkens back to try to keep things as simple as possible.
Yes.
Back said, the dream is to have every shot is like a tap on. It's only, a couple of feet away or less, and
Yes.
it's a drive or it's a rush or something like that. In this case, we've had a 13-yard takeoff, we've got a 2-yard rush. And yes, Callum's quite capable of taking off and getting in front, but he could have had a closer shot with his rush, maybe a foot away, and guaranteed to be right in front to make things easier for himself.
So I will say, based on my level of experience in play, that I probably would have done what Callum did there. I would have taken off from black to try to get that rush and do my best to try to get hoop one and get going. It barely squeezes by. Not really sure if he has a swing on red though. It's hard to tell from here. See.
The angle I can see, viewers at home. Oh yeah, so that's a pretty good angle. Okay, so I think that he's probably going to have a crack at hitting black. We won't be able to see it from this camera angle, but
he's looking towards the east boundary.
yeah. So I think that's a shot on black.
Is that a shot? Yeah.
Looking at it.
Oh, just missed south of it.
Yeah, if I'm starting this break, I'm taking the same ball to hoop one. In this case, it was red, but I would have rushed. Yellow to the peg, put it to somewhere between where yellow is and hoop two, and got a rush to hoop one. The reason I want to do that is that even though red was in the middle of the lawn, and I could have used that as a rush to two, I can load two nicely and get a closer rush to hoop one versus taking the rush initially from the eastbound.
Yeah. So do you like Debbie shooting with yellow here, or would you like a shot with red more?
I would shoot it red simply because it's a shorter shot.
Okay.
But the reason that Debbie's doing this is that she's saying that if she does hit whichever one she's aiming at, she's got that ball at hoop one. So this is a decent option. It's one that you got to back yourself on. And yes, if you do hit this, you have pretty much guaranteed break, assuming you can. It's pretty much a guaranteed break.
You should be able to get that one.
It's a little riskier if you hit it at red, but at the end of the day, you got to hit something. So I'm preferring the shorter shot.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. It's on its way.
Shaking the head.
Oh.
And
yeah, just missed it on that left side.
Would you have shot a black or blue, or assuming you were taking these?
So if
what are you thinking when you go out there? What's your
if I go out there and
process?
I'm shooting at if I was shooting the yellow ball, I generally like the shorter shot personally. So I would have probably shot at red. Obvious downside is that now red's not really that pioneer at one. So there's definitely more advantage to shooting at the opponent balls there. I actually may have considered shooting red at yellow, forcing Callum to come way down here towards the north boundary.
Yeah, so if I try to think of it as where my opponent's next hoop is,
yes,
and given that his next hoop is a 2, I wouldn't. I would have preferred shooting it yellow at red because it's further away from.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2.
Yeah, I forgot blue had gone through.
Yeah, so I think you're assuming that yes, he hadn't already made one. But in general, shooting away from your opponent's hoop is also a good idea. That's another thing that that's another thing that Debbie took into account when she took her shot. She was like, all right, I'm going to play yellow because it's the ball at Callum's next hoop. And then I'm going to decide, am I going to shoot it red or in this case black? And she decided that then she's going to play it at black because red is at her next hoop. So it's kind of the thought process that she would have been going through.
I'm not sure why I forgot that Callum had scored hoop 1. That's my fault.
Well, he's pretty quick. He's definitely one of our faster players.
Yeah. And I learned a couple nights ago his mallet's pretty heavy. It's like 4 pounds.
Yeah,
or
it is
something.
4 pounds. His dad, Graham Harland, if Graham's listening, hello. He made it for him years ago. Before, so Graham now plays croquet, and before he did, Callum had started and he described the sport. And Graham's into making sports equipment, so he's like, all right, I'll make you a mallet. And ever since then, Callum's stuck with it.
Love it. Yeah, the first time I met Callum was the practice day on Thursday, Friday, before we got going. And I was going to ask him about his mallet. I never did. And then I was out with to dinner with Tom Balding and Brian Lozano. They were telling me about it. I had no idea. I didn't know anyone had a mallet that heavy. I knew Ben Rothman had a heavy mallet, but I did not know Callum had a heavier one.
Yes, and given the size of his mallet as well, it's perhaps a little tricky from this distance to pick it up, but it's pretty small. I'd say it's like 7 inches long.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hefty for its size too.
All right, got a nice rush back north towards hoop 3.
Yeah, so we've got a standard triple on the cards here.
So
that's a decent rush. Okay, I take that back. That's not actually ideal. The reason that's not good is because now he has to put it in front and is further away from yellow. You'd ideally be on the other side of yellow, rushing in close. Again, it's repairable, but it's one of those things you just really want to avoid if you can. And you can also just make it like that.
Now, would you consider turning around, tapping yellow, and putting yellow on the other side?
Yeah, I would have. My first option would have been just to put it in front, tap yellow, and then approach.
Yeah.
Because also it's not a great angle as well for black. I would have just optimized getting black in front, but now we're
So
on
he's going for the
30-degree angle.
Yeah. He's going for his first peel here. And so, Greg, I am not apt at peeling at all right now. So is this a peel you would try to take on, or would you maybe try to take off, put it a little better, and maybe hope for a rush on yellow? Or?
General rule of thumb, if you're in a peelable,
nice.
that's a good shot. If you're within a position where you can run the hoop, try for a peel. So long as it's not like, I'd say, 2 yards plus away.
Okay.
The reason being is you're going to have very few opportunities to get a peel, so you should take them when you can.
Okay.
Assuming that you have a skate ball, which he did. If he hadn't tried to get it, then of course, yes, you could play a more defensive option, as Jack suggested, and just take off and repair it later on and potentially have another go. And I would do that if I was focusing on my break. If I was telling myself I might just pull out of this, I would just do a hoop 12 hoop break. And that's totally fine. Totally legitimate way of playing. But given the ball position there, I would have just had a stab at it because I'm pretty much guaranteed to get a rush back down to 4.
All right, so Callum here with his attempt at hoop 4. Ran it beautifully, just snuck past that red ball. So he'll have his northward rush. So, Greg, when do you go and you peel black through 4 back? Would you do it right after you score hoop 4, or do you go through 5 and then peel it and then try to roll them both up towards 6?
Ideally, you want to peel as soon as possible, and without making your break any. Ooh, that's not good. Oh, we nearly hit yellow too. Okay, so assuming that Callum had hit red, he could have come up to black, punted it through, taken off down to yellow, And then I'd say at that point, personally, myself, so long as I've got it in the jaws of 4-back, I'm pretty happy because then I'll probably wait until I get to hoop 11, hoop 10 to have another crack at it.
Yes.
Reason being is that I think the way I think about it is as long as you get that 4-back peel or it's in the jaws, that's the hardest task if it's difficult conditions. Then you can focus on your break after that point. If you do have a standard going, you should pursue it because, again, you're giving yourself more opportunities to peel.
So do we expect Debbie to play yellow here?
Yeah, this isn't... so the thought process going through here, at least the way I think about it, is that if I don't hit red, I'm close to it.
Yes.
And I'm away from it.
All right. Oh, just misses on that left-hand side.
But it's not the end of the world because Callum doesn't have a partner to return to with blue. And if he did make 4-back with black, he's given himself just as long of a shot. And he would be hitting towards blue, which is Debbie's next turn.
Yeah. So I think a lot of maybe new players to AC would actually go towards black. Well, let me just put black through its hoop. It's got one less hoop it's got to make. Callum's opting to shoot blue here. So I'm obviously not the player that you and Callum are, but explain the logic there. Running a hoop versus, I'm presuming, shooting at either a partner ball or a opponent.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be shooting at black. I guess that what Callum is thinking is that if he doesn't hit black, it's going to be hard for Debbie to get started because Debbie would hit red onto yellow, take off to blue, and she has a rush. So I guess that's the thought process going through.
Chris Clark out there to adjudicate the shot. Just missed. Yep.
But yeah, it's not the end of the world. I don't know. I never really like shooting at small targets, and it's a pretty small target in the hoop. Sure, maybe I would convince myself that if I didn't hit it, I'd be off the side there on east boundary. So it's a slightly defensive option.
So Debbie here with her shot. Oh, misses on the right-hand side.
Again, it's not really the end of the world because sure, she's got 2 balls together down there and Callum could get a break going, but he's got another ball stuck in 4-back.
And I think it would be, from that part, it would be a tough build for Callum. It would definitely require some great croquet shots to really get that ball going.
The risk with Callum making 4-back is that there is a potential for his opponent to peg black off. Now, I don't think Debbie's going to go for that option, given the conditions here are a little bit tougher. But the reason we stop at 4-back after making 9
and Callum misses on the left this time.
Is that, one, you will give contact away, but also if you're around at the peg, your opponent can peg you off. So people tend to do TPOs on their opponents if they want to make it harder for your opponent to get around. And the more you edge your partner ball around to the peg, the more you're at risk at your opponents making the last couple of peels. In this case, I'd say it's not such a bad thing.
No, and I would always say, the level of your opponent does have some discrepancy on your strategy choices there. Me playing in the qualifier, not many players are probably doing TPOs in that, so I wouldn't feel as at risk doing that necessarily. Unless, of course, I was playing Reese McCorkindale or Curtis Straker, those guys who probably understand that tactic. So Debbie just walked down just to look at blue and black. Can't really tell from up here if they are in contact or not. The way he kind of was looking at Callum was marking the ball in makes me believe that they are in contact.
So we've got a question from, I've just had to take a look at
Yes.
the comment section. Michael Koenigan is asking, why did they play 2 games? Why are they playing 2 games? This is a mini tournament with 3 people. So I believe it's been answered in the comments by Tony Elliott and Keith Eaton. But effectively, if you're still listening, Michael, and you haven't seen the comments, there were 3 people vying off for 1 position in the knockout. That was Jordan Waters, Callum Holland, and Debbie. There was a random assignment for a player who got the bye, in this case Debbie, and the other 2 players, Callum and Jordan, played each other in 1 game. The winner going through to the next round, the loser is out. That's it for them. They've only got the plate for them. Callum was the victor, and so then he played Debbie. Debbie won the first game, but she has to win 2 in order to qualify. And Callum only needs to beat her once. So I hope that clears up while we're playing the second game here.
All right, so it looks like Debbie had rushed yellow towards the west boundary and has now taken off to blue and black. So is Debbie just thinking of just setting up a leave for her at this point? It's probably going to be tough for her to get going right now.
She might have a stab at it.
Yeah, I think she would just. I think the balls are either in contact or they're very close to contact, and just wants to make sure she knows which ball she hit first. Is what I am guessing. So Callum out there just to watch for her. I'm assuming she hit black first, only because it went a little further. But hard to tell.
If you hit both simultaneously, you can choose which one.
You can. Okay. All right. Learned something new today. Love it.
Speaking of learning, how has this been for you, Jack? Do you want to give us a rundown of your journey from qualifiers to here now in the commentary?
It has been an experience, let me tell you. So I really only just started kind of really getting into and learning the tactics and the strategies of Association Croquet about 6-7 months ago. So not terribly long.
New to the game?
So very, very new to the game. Opted to do the qualifier because here in the States, if you're unfamiliar, we don't have a huge amount of Association Croquet tournaments. It's primarily golf croquet and American Rule 6 wicket.
So this is a great opportunity for you.
Yes, and so I opted to sign up for it because, you know, how often am I going to get this opportunity? And it's in the United States. So who knows when I'll be back in the U.S. Might be 8 years, who knows? And so I got in. I was one of 16 players I got in, 14 Americans, 2 Europeans. And I was like, let me give it a go. I didn't have super high expectations of myself. I was going to be happy if I just made the middle of the qualifiers. Ended up going 4-2. Got the 5th and final elusive spot for the qualifier. And
well done.
Thank you. It was a great learning experience. I got to start off with Reese McCorkindale, who I believe has made the main knockout, I think, hasn't he?
He has. He's had a great tournament.
Yeah, so it was. I had a great first experience to Association Croquet tournament play. And so I managed to get through the qualifier, and I haven't won any games in block play. So a lot of people may think I should feel very disappointed or have asked me if I'm disappointed. I actually am not as disappointed as you might think.
We've only just started turning your hand to AC, and a lot of players who might have been in your position, given that the Worlds were coming up, may not have, and I would say it would have been a mistake, not tried to play in the qualifiers and the main event because they wouldn't think they're ready. But you're going to learn really quickly in this tournament, and if you put yourself out there, play against better players, you're going to learn much faster than you would otherwise. So I think it's a great achievement of what you've done.
Thank you.
And it's also a great opportunity. If you do have the option to play in a qualifiers for a Worlds, definitely do it. Actually, my first Worlds was here in 2009, and I played the qualifiers. and I was fortunate enough to make it to the blocks. But either way, I recommend it, having done it myself. Like, if you have an opportunity to play in qualifiers, not only will you play against other great players, but if you do make it through, you're definitely going to have a great time. It can be tough, but it's a great learning experience for yourself.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, Greg, I would say one of the great things about doing that also is you meet players from other countries. You know, you play your fellow countrymen, countrywomen, more times than not out of a given year. But the qualifiers, you get to experience players from other countries, see how they play, and everyone has been super awesome that I have met. Again, we had two Europeans in the qualifier: Reese McCorkindale from New Zealand and Stephen Allen from England. I think Stephen Allen actually might have a chance of getting into the main.
Oh, cool!
I think I'd have to look it back up. I'm not sure, but he's been playing.
He has been playing well.
Yeah, he was actually my first round match in block play, actually, and he
after the qualifiers as well.
Yeah, and I actually didn't get to play him in the qualifiers.
Oh, right,
I did not. I actually lost my first 2 games in the qualifier and then won 4 in a row. So Callum, great shot there on black.
Looks like Helm's back in. Yeah, Debbie did think about having a crack at one. She decided in the end, after she didn't get in front, to do a bit of a split there. Yeah. Callum's now hit. Yep. He may. I'm going to guess that he's going to play a roll. Yep. I would do a takeoff, but remember, Callum's got a 4-pound mallet. So
that's true. Yeah. So he's doing a pass roll here. It looks like. Yep. That looks pretty good.
Thought he cooked it, but that's actually looking quite nice. Yes. So for players who might be listening and they're people sometimes ask me if they're beginners, like how to get better, and oftentimes I see players want to get better, but they don't put themselves out there in tournaments. And typically, the best players at any club that you go to who are beginning and starting, they're the ones that have been willing to put themselves out there and enter a tournament to play people outside of the club they're in. And this is the only way, this is a great way, I should say, in order to get better. Put yourself up against players who are better than you, and you'll learn.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in you don't get better by playing people that are worse than you. Yeah. If you're constantly going out there and beating same people all the time, you're not really improving.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have some losses, sometimes bad ones, but you'll learn a lot more from a loss than you ever will in a win.
And for some people, that's maybe they haven't played sport before, or they don't like losing. I don't think anyone really does. No. And they might find that experience of losing to another player is not a nice feeling, so then they don't enter a tournament. But at the end of the day, you've got to get yourself out there and play better plays.
Exactly. So Callum here with an attempt on 5. Well done. So it doesn't have a pioneer at hoop 6. So how would you get this going if you were out
there? Yeah. I probably would think about getting red to south boundary, which he's done. Mm-hmm. At this point, I'd just be taking off to yellow. I'd rush that to black. I'd put it to 1 back. Oh, somebody's black ball's into the lawn.
Who was that? That might have been, was that Stephen Morgan, or I'm not sure who Stephen is playing right now.
Yeah, Stephen's playing Jared Coos.
Oh, Jared. Okay, that's who that is.
Yeah, so I would just make it a simple shot. I just take off. I know that red is probably going to be a load for a 3 back, and so I'd just be, okay, whatever, it's there. Yeah. I take off to yellow, rush it to black, load 1 back in a rush to 6. And if I want, I can come back in.
So he's sending red to 1 back.
Yeah, this is another option. Basically, Callum's hedging his bets is saying if he didn't get red there, at least he'll have another crack with yellow, and he's got balls in lawn.
Yes.
At this point in time, I would just be thinking about how can I make that rush to 6 as short as possible. By that I mean, can I have my blue ball lined up through yellow pointing at hoop 6 and be only a foot or 2 feet away? And that's a lot harder to do from where Callum is right now, because he has to take off to, it's like an 8-9 yarder shot to get behind black. And he's going to get behind it.
Looks like he's played it pretty well.
He's got the line.
A little bit of a cut, though.
Yeah, a bit of a cut, and he's given himself a 3-yarder, which, sure, it's fine, but
Hit a little thinner.
if you don't hit it right where you want, you might end up there. So that's why I would be thinking about how can I make that shot from the rush to hoop 6 as short as possible.
Correct.
And now his has to roll into hoop 6.
So with red, pretty close to that hoop, the roll feels almost super risky. If you don't get good hoop running position, which Callum has done pretty well,
Yep.
I just don't love leaving a short shot for red. Now, my roll shots are not quite as good as your guys's, so I probably would have been short. Just powers it through.
And at this point, even though we're not really set up for appeal, we've got plenty of time to do it. So my line of thought would be, okay, how can I get this break back under control? So I'm going to optimize everything for getting nice loads, and then I'll start thinking about peeling again. And typically, as a rule of thumb, if I can just get the break back going and have it set up so I have partner ball in front of Penalt and a ball to the side west of it so that I can peel Penalt going to hoop 10, then I'm happy. And if I don't get it, all good. We just finish the break to the peg. So I wouldn't have bothered putting black there. I just would have put this to 2 back, rushed yellow up to red, optimize the break, and then figure out how to peel later on.
Yes, so I was actually going to ask you, let's say you don't believe you are ever going to get your ball that you need to peel into a good position. You should prioritize the break there.
That's it.
And worry about the break and not worry about the peel. Worry about the peel a little bit later.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's why the way I think about doing a triple is that the most really work on that 4 back peel, because once you've got that, you've got all the way up to hoop 10 to set up a peel from peeling Penalt going to 10. And it's a very, very simple shot to make if you set yourself up. And it's a very simple shot to peel Penalt going to hoop 10. And it's very simple to set that up if your break is under control. And so I just like to think about it like that. I just set up my break and I give myself an opportunity.
Yeah. So a nice approach there by Callum. Runs it pretty comfortably.
So I'm thinking we're going to see a death roll here. If not, I think he's going to cut this. I think we're good, yeah.
So Callum is now he's still for Penalt and for 2 back now.
Should probably update.
Oh, yeah, we should probably update this score. So I would say, we talked a lot about peeling there, and me as a very new AC player, I'm not very adept at peeling. I utilize a strategy of 9-12-5. So I would try to run the first break to 9 or 3 back, and then set a leave, run my second ball to 12, set a second leave, and then try to finish my forward ball through its last 3 hoops. I think, so how do you feel about that as a strategy for beginning AC players trying to get into it? Rather than worry about peeling, worry about break play first.
Absolutely. It's the way to play. Peeling is fun, tripling is fun, but the reason you do a triple, the reason you do any type of peeling turn is to make it easier for you to win. It's nice to have the stats, but the whole idea is it's optimizing, it's using a skill you have to make it more likely for you to win. And if you're beginning and you don't have that skill yet, then you've got to fall back on something else, which is 9-12-5, which is the percentage play. So if someone wants to become a great tripler, they need to first get good at making breaks. You've got to get good at making good leaves, understanding the difference between a good and a bad leave. And the reason that triples exist is to increase your odds for winning. But if you're not good at a triple yet, then you're decreasing odds for winning. So I totally agree. Yes. Just 9-12-5 is the way to go.
So Callum attempted to do the peel at Penalt. I think it hit the left wire, I think a little bit, and now he is making his way to 2 back. I would expect him to just kind of blast this through. caught a lot of wire, but it actually looked like it worked out okay for him. He does have that eastward facing rush, a little bit southeast facing.
Yeah, so this is, if I had gone through 2 back, I'm quite happy with this. I get a rush to 3 back. I can punt a ball up to Penalt. Now, he might have wanted to rush this back up to Penalt and then set it up for that position I was saying beforehand, putting a ball west, level with Penalt or slightly south of it by a yard or so.
So he's just opting to send yellow as his 4-back pioneer while getting the rush on red.
And he's deliberately put it short so that after he makes 3 back and rushes up to hoop Penalt, he can have a crack at peeling Penalt, and he's got room to get to yellow.
Yes.
The closer yellow is to 4 back, the harder it is for him to get that shot where he can play a nice peel through Penalt and still land close to his pioneer, 4 back.
All right. Has ran his 3-back.
That one.
Wood needs to get going a little bit.
Oh.
And I don't know if he has a swing at yellow either.
That's true. Yeah. That is not a great position to be in if he doesn't have room. He's looking at black, which makes me think that he can still hit it.
Yeah, you might be able to see maybe quarter-inch, maybe a little less. Well, he's pretty confident he can hit it. Oh, I might have been able to see more of it than it looked like from here.
It's tricky to see from these angles.
Yeah, so we are commenting from the top of the building of the National Croquet Center. So we're looking down on the lawn at, I don't know, like a 30-degree angle, something like that. Oh, went for the peel, but... So at this point, do you do you have to probably do it as a straight double.
Yeah, straight double. And again, this is something you can practice and get really good at. Straight double is something you need to feel comfortable with. And you can pull out. Like, if you don't get in front, no worries. Just back to making 12. And the reason I prefer trying to peel not going to 10 or trying a straight double is if it does go wrong, as in you don't have a percentage play, you can just pull out. It's a very simple shot. Whereas if you try and do a death roll from peeling Penalt down to 2 back or 3 back, if it goes wrong, you might have a 4-yarder. And that's not ideal. And I do it plenty of times. I'm plenty of, happy to do death rolls or more aggressive plays. That's fine. But we were just talking earlier on about, what's the safer way to play, right? Like, you want to back your percentages on these types of lawns. And in this case, I'm quite happy to just make 12 and settle leave. For those at home, if you're trying to set this up with a straight double, make sure not to think about where you're putting the opponent ball south of hoop 11. You don't want yellow in the way because if you peel Penalt and you purely hits into yellow, that's not ideal. And you want to be placing red around about where it is, but ideally just past maybe by an inch or so south of hoop 6, so that if you do go through the hoop with blue and you've only just gone through, you can still hit something. So this is okay. I would have yellow further down the lawn. I would have it around about level with the peg. I'd probably have it on west, given that it's closer to 4 back and it's an easier shot to make.
So if Callum were to fail this peel, how would you obviously proceed with your break and finish it? And then just try to set a good lead.
Yeah, it's you there are ways to repair it, and players such as James Death, who likes to do a lot of peels and try interesting things, you can potentially rush peel black through Penalt after you've made it, but people often do that just for fun. And given the stakes for this match, or game I should say, Callum would just stick with finishing the break.
Yeah. So Callum giving this a good look over, making sure he's very confident with it. Ooh. Actually, speaking of James Death, you can't see him, but if we can kind of see him on court 7, he actually just tried to peel green through hoop 5, it looked like, from, I don't know, like 5-6 yards away. So didn't quite get it, but would have been cool if he did.
Yep. James loves doing all sorts of adventurous things on court. I remember one time that's not great.
Yeah, that's not good. So I will apologize to Callum if I gave him the commentator's curse.
Yeah.
I will happily buy him a drink if he needs one later.
So
Callum, my
at
apologies.
this point, there's not much other than a scatter that he can do here.
Yeah, blue can't run the hoops, so
I believe that's what he's doing.
yeah.
No? Oh, yeah, okay.
It has. I believe it is. Yeah. So pretty good scatter there.
Yes, as far as
Not
scats
too
go,
bad.
that's pretty good.
Looks like he got blue into the corner.
Yep.
So a little unlucky there for Callum, but he's got pretty good control of the game right now. But one break to 9, and Debbie's right back in it.
Yeah. You want to back yourself when you play a shot. I'm not a huge fan of, a lot of people second guess themselves, afterwards. They're like,
Yeah.
I could have done this, could have done that. But just for the sake of how I would approach the break, I would say that, yes, I would have been trying the straight double here with the Irish peel at Penalt. But I have a cutoff point. I have a threshold where I know that I'm confident where I'm confident I can do it and where it's a little bit too risky. And if you are in that threshold where you feel like you can do it and it doesn't work out, then so be it. Just walk it off. Stick with the game plan.
Yeah.
But you've got to find that threshold. You've got to know when it's too risky and when it's best to just, go to the peg, make a good move.
So Debbie took her lift to B-block, and she is opting to shoot at partner here. See if she's got that swing dialed in.
The reason Debbie's shooting from here is that it gives her a short shot, but it won't
Looks
land.
good.
Yeah, it looks
Oh,
good.
great contact there.
But it won't. If she didn't hit, she won't land next to blue.
Yep.
And in general, if you're wanting to maximize, like what the top players are thinking when they get a lift shot, they want to take the shortest shot possible. Given that if they do hit, they've got a break set up. So let's say you've got an option between, let's say, a 13-yarder and a 15-yarder, but if you hit the 13-yarder, you're not guaranteed a break. But with the 15-yarder, you might start to think the 15-yarder is your best option.
Yeah, you certainly want to, what I've learned is maximize your chances when they're there, but not try to do anything reckless, which I can't say I always followed. Sometimes I did a few reckless things that I should have done, but. So it looks like black may be rushable to hoop 1. So I'm going to try to get this approach there. Like, needs to go. And I think she, might have just overruled it a little bit. So I think she could cut it down towards hoop 1. Red's gone a little bit far, a little bit too much to the west, but ooh.
Oh, was that a flick off the leg?
Yeah, I think it sounded like it hit
Yeah.
some hoop or something there. We might see that on replay. I'm not sure if we will or not. So I don't mind this play taking off to try to get a hoop running shot. I actually did this morning in a game I had to finish against Joe King, and I actually ended up getting it. So I actually am not minding this shot choice at all.
Yeah, you can roll it, but my preference is just to do a takeoff.
Yeah.
The reason you might roll it would be, well, one, maybe you feel you're more confident on a roll shot. Some players do.
Yeah.
And the other is getting your opponent ball away from your other ball, in this case, red.
So
But-
Debbie's approach.
Debbie's going with a takeoff, and it's
It might be
runnable.
Yeah, I think it's runnable.
It's tricky. It's on an angle. These hoops have been pretty tough, especially on angles. I'd say if you're straight up in front, I found that you can just wallop them through.
Yeah.
In this case, you wouldn't because it's hoop one, but a good hoop shot here would get her going.
Yeah, here's a good angle. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. I actually don't mind hitting this a little bit harder. I wouldn't want to run it off the boundary.
Yeah, my preference in this, is to hit a medium hard shot, and that's good.
I think that's
perfect.
Great. Yeah.
It's worth practicing different types of hoop shots at different paces at hoops, because you might find that the ball will grab anyway if you do hit the ball hard, as it did there. Some players, they're concerned that they can only make a hoop shot softly. Those tend to be AC players, and GC players might lean in the other direction, where they think they can only run the hoop shot hard. So you've got to be able to experiment between the two. So it's nothing wrong with running a hoop shot hard.
Right.
My rule of thumb is I'm going to do that if it's a boundary hoop, because the boundary is going to collect my ball.
Correct.
I'm not going to hit it as hard through hoop one because the boundary is too far away, but I'm not afraid to hit it a little bit harder if I need to, because my goal is just to optimize the likelihood of me making that hoop. And if it is a harder shot, then so be it. I'll prefer to be making the hoop than not.
Yep. So looks like Debbie's going to try to send black towards 3, while maybe trying to get a rush on red if she can. Again, red went a little further west than she would have liked, but try to corral this break together. Black might be coming in a little too hot. So kind of overrolled that a little bit, but she can still corral this, kind of bring it back together.
So I'm just going through the comments here. Let's see. Yeah, so Alison Murray's asking why did Debbie move her ball to the boundary, and Keith has already answered. But yes, so you get a lift after someone makes one back or four back. And another question. Okay, not a question, but Prosciutto Iracola says Callum is for penult with both balls and not four back. Okay, so we've been doing just numbers from 1 through 12, and the idea is that we're saying hoops scored. So rather than saying someone is for hoop 1, typically people would have on a scoreboard in AC would actually start with everybody on hoop 1, but we're not saying and we're saying they haven't scored, that's the hoop they're on. However, now with this particular setup, we're saying it's the hoop scored. So I decided, I normally when I play AC refer to hoops as 1 through 6 numbered, and then I do 1 back through to penult and rover, and that's just how I think about AC, so we're just going to stick with that. But thank you for noticing anyway. Prosciutto.
So Debbie has successfully ran hoop 2. And now we'll be sending her pioneer. Well, going over to black. So she was able to get red to nice position.
We could be joined soon by Ben Rothman, who, hey Ben, who earlier today
Good afternoon.
had a playoff himself. Who did you play, Ben, and can you walk us through your game?
I played Lachlan Berryman from Australia. I'm not sure where in Australia. Do you know, Greg?
It's from Melbourne.
Melbourne? Okay. So I played Lachlan, and I hit third turn, set a nice diagonal with balls real close to boundaries. He missed. I stuffed one promptly, so that was fun. Then he missed me, and I went round, set a good leave. He shot at me from corner one, what he says was a double, but I think was a gap double at my two balls that were over east of 4 and 5 with kind of a
standards on doubles can be different at times.
It was a rush point north of 1, and it was a yard apart, but he claims a double. He hit it. He went round. I missed his leave, and then he stuffed 4, giving me my back ball had a 3 or 4 yard shot at his ball in the hoop, and then everything was right there near hoop 5, so I could go over, make 1, and had an adventurous triple. Didn't get the first peel, jaws it on the way to 6.
Yeah.
And then didn't even get the jaws on the way to 4 back, so I had a straight double. But 2 good little touch rushes to get it into a foot straight in front for both peels worked out quite nicely.
All right, so this was on the same line, I believe. Callum also had a straight double, albeit it wasn't a triple. He'd already made 4 back beforehand, and that's why we're looking at the clip position here. So he had, I'd say, foot and a bit out on maybe a 15-degree angle, completely rejected. Peely just didn't make the hoop at all.
Oh,
He
that's
didn't
rough.
even enter the jaws, and then did a scatter, putting blue to where it is, and then
Now, second scatter on red failed? Or no, that was a hidden attempt?
So that's
Okay.
so basically from that point, Debbie did manage to make 2 hoops and had just failed with yellow there. And then his next shot.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to WNCC, your home for the 2025 AC World Championships. Let's see, so Debbie and Callum, I thought they already played today.
Yeah, so this is a 3-way playoff. We had Jordan Waters, Callum Harland, Debbie Lyons, all vying off the same spot. They were allocated randomly to 2 of them to the first round, in this case Callum and Jordan, and 1 player got the bye, which was Debbie. The winner of the first round was Callum, so Jordan's out, that's it. And then Callum only needs to win 1 more game, but Debbie needs to win 2.
Oh, so she...
Yeah, so they're now one
Gotcha.
apiece, actually. So Callum has 1 win against Jordan, Debbie has 1 win against Callum, and I think
So it's almost like a best of 3, but he played
3
Jordan
people.
first, and then the second 2 games
so
against
it's
Debbie.
best of
Yeah.
3 for 3 people.
Gentle stroke, good shot.
Yep.
Just enough. Maybe not useful in golf croquet, but perfectly
That's all you need in
serviceable in
AC.
AC.
Good in AC.
So now she's hit in with the hoop
Red.
1 ball.
Yep.
And it looks like, I think our scoreboard has yellow for 2, but we got to add 1 there. Oh, you got to
Doesn't seem as
switch
updated
tabs, something like that.
I saw a refresh. I'm gonna be brave and do that myself. See what happens.
yet. Break it.
Dun, 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 dun,
So
dun,
it's
dun,
already
dun.
broken, so
Okay. It's not
Which
updated on the
tab
screen
are you
yet.
on? You're in the score tab, not the OBS or whatever
Yeah.
overlay. Yeah. All right.
gonna need some technical.
No worries. So Debbie, a familiar takeoff from 3 down to corner 4, possibly something that she practiced in warm up because that's a distance you got to take off for a delayed triple, I believe. So let's see, black on the south boundary. It's the closest ball to 1, not really rushable to 1 though. So what would you be doing here, Jack?
Well, I play sometimes too overly aggressive. I would, hit blue, and then I would try to see if I can get something of a rush on black to 1.
Where's blue going? You just taking off?
I would probably try to cut it out into the middle of the lawn somewhere, maybe between 5 and the peg, something like that.
Okay.
Again, so as you well know, Ben, I'm very new to association croquet, so
No, it's fun.
my
It's
tactics are
spitballing.
not,
So
are not as refined as others.
I would think with yellow kind of outside the box, you could always run away to yellow.
Yeah.
And kind of set a trap in the corner here with her partner. If she wants, she could put red near hoop 3, so it's a trap for yellow, because she might prefer to run yellow. But it's hard to pass up a possible break if you got it.
Yeah.
So I see 2 reasonable lines of play. You either do a little bit of like a drive shot third roll, you send blue to 2, preferably far from yellow, so you don't mind it a little outside the box or maybe crosswired from yellow. Looks like that's what she's doing. The other line of play is send blue behind 1 and try to maybe get a rush on black.
Yeah.
But if you don't get a good rush on black, you can send black to 2 while you're trying to load and hold to approach 1.
Yes.
And the goal there is, even if you don't make hoop 1, you're leaving an opponent at 1 and 2, and you can go back to your partner.
Yeah.
And that way, if you want to run the hoop 1 ball, you've either got a ball at your hoop or a pioneer. The problem here is she maybe would rather run the hoop 3 ball, and a ball at 1 and 2 isn't super helpful to that yellow ball. Don't know if we lost some video. Don't know if people heard us, but yeah, here we'll see a roll up to 1. And because she's with the opponent, I think aggression would pay off here.
Yeah.
You don't want to have an angled 2-yarder here, Jack.
No.
You want to have an easily makeable hoop or no hoop shot at all. So I would expect her to try to get within a yard in front of the hoop. I don't know, Greg, do you like this line of play, the big roll shot sending blue from corner 4 to 2?
Yeah, I didn't see where we were going to, but I'm going to guess that black was around.
No, black was right there. She didn't get any rush on it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can get blue up as far as possible, then that gives you more room with black. This is a good shot.
Oh,
That looks pretty good.
That's a wonderful shot. And she even left herself room to take a good sized swing at this, so she doesn't have to play gently to stay near black. The risk of that is if red's not in position, black is closer to blue, then you might want it for if you ran away to partner. But she should be able to hopefully get through any amount more than 3 yards, less than 14, and she should be happy with turnaround hitting black.
Oh.
Put a good swing on it, but just not accurate enough. All right, so yeah, time to remind our viewers that these hoops are set at a 32nd of an inch clearance. So not only do you have to hit the middle inch, you probably have to hit the middle like 1/8 of an inch of the hoop, as they are nice and firm in the ground. I played on this court earlier. I was told these are not new hoop settings today, so these are yesterday's hoop holes, but they did pound them all the way down in our match, because yeah, my first shot at hoop 1 did that similar thing where it pops in the air, which I know it's unlikely it hit a carrot, but it was still, could we just put the hoops in the ground,
I did
please?
see you standing over it, and I wasn't sure if you were just bemused or dismayed or thought there might be a jam.
No, it bounced back. The thing was, it bounced up in the air, which, I wasn't standing too far forward or intentionally hitting down. So it was one of those, why would the ball jump in the air? And these are very springy hoops, but it was just, they were quite proud where the carrot was a good 1/4 inch out of the ground. And I pointed out to the referee that I was told these are not new hoops. If they were new hoops, I understand you leave it proud so that tomorrow you can hammer them down more and have them firm day 2. But this is day 2. Can we just put them in the ground, please? I don't want to have to deal with this.
It's like an aesthetic thing as well. Like when I come up to a hoop, even if I know it's not going to make any difference, I just prefer to have the carrots down.
Yeah, and certainly if you end up with a hampered shot, you don't then want to have to hammer the hoop while the critical ball is sitting there hoping it doesn't move.
Yeah. And
You'd
people-
rather have the carrots down so you can
people
hit
might
a
say
sweep
that,
or something.
well, I'll just do that when it happens. But a lot of the time when you play, and that's fine, you call someone out to do it, but I want to reduce the amount of times that I have to rely on someone to get a hammer and then, put the carrots down. I much prefer it having it down.
All right, so penalt and penalt. He's had both opponents. Guessing he's going to try to get a rush on blue. Doesn't look like he's doing much with yellow here.
Yeah, sorry. Looking at yellow with black as though he's lining up somewhere, but maybe he's thinking about whether he can wire yellow from red. That's the only thing I can think of.
All right, got it. What? Good amount on the court. 13 yards on the court. No, 10, 11 yards on the court.
That's a really good
That
shot.
looks pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah, Greg, from your angle, can you see any crosswire with that hoop
It's-
5?
I think it's open, but given the distance he was playing that shot, it's a pretty good effort. I wouldn't have been thinking about that at this point. I just want to make.
Was
penalty.
blue rushable to penalt? Oh, yeah, obviously.
is.
So the fact that he got the rush on that wide of a takeoff
Yeah.
or wide split is quite a good effort. Now he'd almost wish that he had sent yellow down to Rover, but it's a
Yeah.
little risky to put it close to red when you aren't sure you have any play for your hoop.
Yeah.
All right, so now he's looking over at yellow before the hoop shot. He's got to make sure to focus on the hoop shot, but
Is this a pound
I
through
know what
to-
he wants.
It's a pound through. To
Oh, is he
south
going to
boundary.
red?
I'm gonna go all the way to red.
Is he going to red?
Love to see it.
That's a lot of furniture in the way, Callum. Missed the
Called
furniture.
it.
Wrong wire, though. Oh, trying to.
Almost takes his
Debbie,
opponent out.
yeah. Hey, ever
wouldn't have seen
vigilant
that on camera.
opponent means a lot of things, including you have to be vigilant so that the in-play opponent doesn't kill you with a shot to the south boundary.
I think Debbie's heart rate got up a little bit there.
Yikes! Yeah, that's jump scare for sure. So
Those at home, it's worth noting, if someone's shooting a hoop that hard and you're in the line, just keep an eye on that ball sometimes.
yeah, frustratingly, the black sort of corrugated conduit thing is supposed to stop the ball, but if it's coming at that pace and it's bouncing a little, you can see the ball
sometimes-
doesn't always stop.
Well, as you guys
So
know,
he's
sometimes it hits those
just
pavers and
hit
it'll
it.
hop up sometimes.
Yeah, he's just hit red, but again, it counts an AC. So he cut red into lawn. Now he has to go find black.
Yeah,
So how are you gonna build from here, Jack? What do you think? You've just hit
Oh.
red. You're for Rover and penalt.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think? Possible finish? You gonna get 2 peels in one shot?
I would not. You guys could. You guys could.
No.
If I do that, can you just give me the trophy now? I think that's worthy of the trophy. I'm just saying.
It's a different trophy, but that definitely would deserve a trophy. No. So what's he gonna do here, Jack? What's your thoughts?
Well, taking off to yellows. Probably. Oh no, he's gonna go to partner.
Yeah, I guess blue has a little furniture in the way if you're trying to rush it to
Yeah.
Rover.
Yeah. So
This kind of brings us back to we were talking earlier on, Jack and I.
I would
about,
like to stay
balls
south
you
of
want to
blue.
play. If
Just
when you're
west.
setting your first leave,
yeah.
you want to put partner to 2 back, and if you're making a leave again, in this case, as Callum will after 12, you want to be making 12 off of opponent, right? So
Right.
making it off partner makes this a lot harder. I'm guessing Callum's thinking that red's back on south boundary, so we're going to pummel this
Hey,
down.
it's just a consummate reception ball. It's going to be there
we
through
go.
11 or
we go.
12.
Yeah.
You can always go to red. Really taking advantage of that
Hopefully
golf
Debbie's
croquet
paying
stroke.
attention.
Yeah, this is more of a Andrew at risk. Yeah, got a better amount of wire there to not end up going straight at his opponent. All right, so now what do you think, Jack? What kind of leave are we gonna look at?
Really, well, my leave knowledge is very minimal. My tempting shot would be to do some sort of a wire with the peg, maybe a diagonal spread.
That would be awesome if it worked.
That's what I would probably be trying to go for, because again, my leave knowledge is pretty minimal at best. I have attempted doing crosswires at the peg with the balls pretty close, kind of like what we saw Callum did after his first break, Greg.
Oh yeah, so we did
If I
see.
could do that from this
Like a-
position, I could.
We saw
How far apart were the balls?
about a meter.
Oh my goodness, that's like a super advanced leave. It's a Robert Fulford super advanced, the
Yep.
tight cross wire at the
Yep.
peg. Ooh.
And we got there from Callum making hoop 3 back with partner ball 2 and a takeoff back to the peg 2.
Did he have a reception ball on the north boundary when he made 3 back?
We'd already wired them at 12. But no, there wasn't the reception ball on 4 back.
All right, so I think we have a no lift leave here. So he doesn't need to keep things away from the balk
Correct.
line. So he's only made the last 2 hoops. So the diagonal spread really, the diagonal line is meant to be equidistant from the 2 balk lines when there's a lift. But since there's no lift, I would say the ideal leave would have been, a crosswire maybe at penult, and then, blue and black far away like corner 4. But with red and yellow, neither one of them was at penult. He didn't have a rush on red. He's just left red as the reception ball once again. he's gonna stick with what works and leave red as a reception ball. And I guess he's gonna leave blue here in front of penult. So probably the farthest he could get yellow away would be middle of the east boundary, middle of the west boundary, kind of triangulate, make sure yellow's got long shots.
Yeah.
That's not really useful to him though.
The trouble with red there means that he can only get it so far away from yellow if you're putting a ball into the middle of the lawn.
Yeah.
I would have been pushing red towards the east or west boundary to give me
Yeah.
more room.
Rushable to rover, but
Yeah,
somewhere
totally.
out past 1 or 4, something like that.
Which is why my preference would have been probably go south with blue and black. Let's just pick corner 4 and say I'm putting my opponent balls north, making it easier for me to load, 12 and get a shorter rush on penult.
All right. Well, we'll see if it pays off for Callum. He got a rush. He might be able to cut this toward rover. That's a good effort. So he could crosswire at rover. And then he has red as the consummate reception ball. And a ball at rover if she leaves yellow there. So this isn't a bad look. I wonder if Debbie wants to get rid of that reception ball, seeing Callum's favorite ball is to just have there on the south boundary. But generally for game tactics, which ball do you think Debbie should play, Jack? All else being equal.
I would normally think the yellow. She would imagine it's your forward ball. If you can get the break going, get it to 9, then you're just, 1 lift and a miss away from potentially finishing.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. That gives her a 2-turn finish. If she does play red, take away his reception ball, she has to run a break to 4 back. I'm not sure what leave she likes when she's 3 and 4 back. It's a pretty unorthodox position to start, and it means it's unlikely she'd get any sort of standard back peel at 3. So she'd be on a delayed triple, which means more likely to be a 3-turn finish instead of a 2-turn finish. So I assume yellow out there at rover, and yellow for hoop 3. She's probably going to want to play yellow. Now Callum can't set a really good rush to penult because he's got to leave yellow a shot at something. I assume yellow can't hit red the way that he intentionally left it there with kind of a thin takeoff, but it looks like yellow might also be wired on blue. That's what Callum's going to find out for us. So he didn't die or hit his head. He's just checking to see. He has to leave his opponent balls. Each ball has to have a shot at something to be able to hit all sides of one of the 3 balls, or it gets a lift to balk, which would be pretty devastating at this stage. This leave is pretty committed to there not being a balk lift.
Ooh.
Whoa, okay.
Yikes.
So Callum has exited the lawn pretty confidently, which makes me think that he believes that blue is completely open.
Well, Debbie's asked for a ref to come out. I'm assuming looking for a wire.
Hey, you can't get a wire if you don't ask. So you can ask. It's kind of like if your ball sticks in the hoop or, stuffs the hoop and it might stick, you can't get a replay if you don't ask. So she's going to just do her due diligence and let the referee do their job. Hopefully they don't kick any ball while they're walking around.
Even if it isn't wired, blue's still got a double on.
Yeah, I'm assuming that Callum saw blue was open, but only by you could squeak between the hoop and blue. Mm-hmm. So putting black there looks like a double, but I bet black is at least half wired. So it might have not really increased the target size. She still has to miss the hoop by very little.
No, I should have clarified. I meant for red. So even if
red has the double. Okay.
So
yeah.
just wouldn't have put black there because.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Red shooting the double versus yellow shooting at blue. It's a lot more trust in the court for red because it's nearly twice the distance. And in theory, I think with a perfect double, a regular ball is like 3 balls wide target. You could hit the middle. You could hit the very left side or the very right side. It's 3 balls wide. A perfect double is still only 5 balls wide. So it's not 6 balls wide. So it's only 5/3 the size of a normal target, if that makes sense. So I'm not quite
but I'm
sure.
thinking of hoop 6 in the way, like if it's there, I don't like the idea of just potentially getting past or just flicking it.
Yeah.
That's, if I have to, I will, but I ideally shoot at the clearer target.
So Ben, in case there's people watching, not really sure, why did the referee bring white out there to put it up against the side of hoop 6 there?
This is like a sighting ball. So the idea is that yellow needs to be able to miss hoop 6 and still get to, as we're looking out on camera, the right side of blue. Yellow needs to be able to see the middle, the right, and the left side of blue. And from this angle, it looks like the hoop is most likely could be impeding yellow's shot to miss on, as we look at through the camera, the right side of blue. So he put the white ball there to show what yellow barely missing the hoop would look like, because these balls are all the same size. And then he looked down, and I'm guessing he determined yellow could go through the path that would go through the middle of that white ball, just barely missing the wire, and it could miss blue on what is, again, our right side. Yeah. And so that does mean that, black is adding a little bit to the target size, but so little that I think Callum preferred to have blue have a proper rush than going off to the side and leaving blue a cut rush. It's also possible that Callum meant for black to go, 6 inches southwest of there, where she couldn't hit black anyway.
All right, so Debbie lining up her shot with yellow.
Shorter shot. What's the distance here? We got 17, 16 to the peg. This is like 19-yarder. She's got to just miss hoop 6. She's missed hoop 6 by a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so Callum with a chance to qualify in what is effectively game 3 of his best of 3 qualifying match. He's the only one who got proper match practice today.
It's true.
Debbie came in up a game, right?
Came in, no.
Oh, no.
down
She came in down a game,
Yep.
so she didn't get any experience from game 1. And Callum got 3 games, with at least game 1 and game 3 had elimination on the line. So Callum got the most kind of stressful break practice. There's really nothing to substitute for a proper, tournament practice. You can do a lot of practice on your own, play great, and then you get to a tournament and all of a sudden the nerves show up. I wonder why, if he tried so hard to get blue a good rush on black and giving yellow even a double, why he bothered to even hit yellow. Because it didn't improve it. It didn't give him a pivot ball
Plus yellow got
or a
the way.
pioneer. And he had a worse rush on black and put yellow in the way of said rush.
Yeah. So this probably, as the reason said, Ben didn't improve anything. In fact, made it worse. And for those at home wondering why, yellow isn't really
Yeesh.
useful where it is anyway. Just bringing it in doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, so is this going to south boundary?
No.
Oh.
You're
So it
correct.
is. Oh, we're back to red.
Actually, it's
the
close
third
enough.
time. So
Yeah.
this is the third time
So
Callum has in
I
a row
missed-
hit red. as
He
the
should
return
have
ball.
just rushed black 3 yards short of penalty and sent it down past the peg. Then he could have run the hoop to red and had a pioneer. So I guess yellow is
You take off the
the
yellow
pivot
here?
ball. I think so. You don't want to trust getting the rush on black.
Yeah.
Black is the closer ball to rover.
Yeah.
So you want to rush black to rover instead of yellow. And it's a lot easier to get a rush on black from yellow than from where he was taking off.
Yes.
Now he's, of course,
Oh, might
he's
hit it.
he's hit a thick enough takeoff to put red behind rover because, and I can't say this enough, Red is his reception ball.
It could
No
be 4
matter
in a row.
what.
This is going to be the 4th hoop in a row.
4 hoops in a row. You go straight to red every time. He's got a bias, he's got a favorite, and he's sticking to it. So this I would
got
probably
something
take off
working,
from the
just don't
other
change it.
side here. So especially with this milling, we've heard about, the draw. You can see blue goes left to right. I would have preferred taking off from the right side of yellow, and then the draw would go right to left and pull you into a more straight line. Of course, he managed to get the touch just right anyway.
Rush it well.
Yes, but he didn't have to rush it that well because he's going to red, everybody. He's going to red. Now is the only time he should definitely be going to red. The other times are questionable. This time he should definitely go to red because he wants to rush black back to the peg.
Yes.
And you don't want to baby these hoops. They have proven to be very formidable even on day 2. So this is where I actually like a little tip for Jack and other players.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're just running a 4-ball to finish, we often talk about on a straight rover peel, you want to put a deep ball in case you have to jump or run the hoop hard, and a short ball in case you dribble through the hoop. If you've got a 4-ball break going, and all you have to do is, make the last hoops and peg out, I still put a deep ball and a short ball because weird things happen, like Grievous's, or like using red as your reception ball 4 hoops in a row. Weird things happen, when you get tough angles, tough hoops. Hopefully nothing weird can happen here. Hopefully the balls don't separate and change angles. A center enough peg out, it got in the way.
So Callum.
Congrats to Callum. Making it through.
Yeah.
Callum Highland all the way from Australia, wearing actual white pants, a rarity. But he is qualified with 2 out of 3 games today. Beat Jordan, what is Jordan's last name?
Waters, I think.
Jordan Waters from England and Debbie Lines from England, although Debbie gave him a bit of a battle, took a game off of him. But congratulations, Callum. So do we know what group Callum is likely to be in, Greg? Do we have any idea what his...
Wrong person to ask.
All right, fair enough. All right, so Block G, Callum was the 6th seed. So I'm guessing he's going to be in the 25 to 32 group. Not a lot of 6 seeds made out, but some did, including the 8 seed in that block, causing this playoff by taking one of the qualifying spots with 5 wins. Reese McCorkindale, the younger brother of Logan McCorkindale, qualified without one of these funky matches today. So that kind of threw this block into disarray, which is why Debbie Lines, the 3 seed, Jordan Waters, the 5 seed, and Callum Highland, the 6 seed, were all fighting for one spot that Reese had already claimed the 3rd spot.
Went from the qualifiers all the way through to the knockout.
There's something to be said for getting to warm up on these courts with these balls and these hoops for a couple days before block play.
Have you experienced that yourself, Ben?
Oh, yeah,
for a
certainly.
Qualifier and then getting deep into a tournament?
Yeah, the frustrating thing was the qualifier I played was not at the same venue as the block play for the tournament. So it didn't really help me get used to the lawns.
They're asking if we can interview Callum. I might send him up and replace myself with him. So
All right, yeah. It looks like Marco. Thank you to Marco, our cameraman, who has maybe told Callum to come on up. Oh, he said no. Callum has refused. Oh, that's it. You should go have words with him, Greg. The snub.
Set him straight.
The snub.
I will head off now anyway.
Callum's been in the sun for
Callum's
3
had-
games.
yeah. He's
I'm sure he needs a bit of a break.
And he was telling me he wanted to do at least 100 chin-ups. He wanted to.
Did he bring a fingerboard with him?
Well, he's thinking of doing it in the shelter sheds to see if.
Oh
he
yeah,
might get some
I
fans.
wouldn't. I used to do that 20 years ago. These have been through hurricanes, so have him check the welds before he
All
does
right,
any
I'll let
pull-ups.
him know.
But yeah, he didn't. I wonder. We could ask Zach if there's like a pegboard somewhere he could do the fingerboarding that the climbers do to work on the finger strength
All right,
while
we'll
doing
find a
those
spot
chin
for
ups.
him. But anyway, thank you both. I'm going to head off, and thanks to those watching at home. Catch you later.
All right, thank you, Greg. That's Greg Fletcher, qualifier for the knockout from Australia, by way of, I believe he lives in Germany now. But yeah, so Jack, what are your thoughts? This is your first AC World Championships.
It is.
How are things? What expectations did you have? What's funky? What's going on?
Well, I was not sure to actually make it through the qualifier. And one of the main reasons I did it, I only started playing AC. I think I might have told you this before. About 6-7 months ago is kind of when I started like practicing and trying to learn more about it and everything. And I know in the U.S., as you know, we don't have a huge amount of AC tournaments that we have here. So, yeah, no problem.
I'm listening.
No, I know. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, now's a good a time as any to do an AC tournament. And so I was like, let me sign up for it. I wasn't even sure I'd get in. I figured there'd be a lot more European players signing up for the qualifier than there were. We only had 2. Reese McCorkindale being one of them.
It's a weird it's a weird thing to call an Aussie European, but okay, or a Kiwi.
Well, whatever.
Foreigners in the qualifier.
No one said I was a genius.
So there, he was
Anyway,
he was here from New Zealand, and then who is the other foreigner in the?
Stephen Allen from
Okay.
England. Yeah. How about 2 non-U.S. players? How about that?
There you go. Yeah.
And so I did the qualifier and lost my first 2 games, and then won the next 4 in a row to get that 5th and final elusive spot for the qualifier. And I didn't win any games in the block play. I was a little disappointed by that, certainly, but it was my first world championship, and I never thought my first world championship would be in association croquet.
Oh, okay.
So-
No, I saw you at the. You were
did-
at the GC
I
Worlds,
did the
but you
GC
played the qualifier.
Yeah,
okay.
and I did not make it out of that at all.
Gotcha,
I didn't even
alright.
make it to the qualifying block. So you did the qualifier
Oh.
and then, or
One block
Yeah,
to a later
to another
block
block.
to figure out who
yeah,
qualified.
Yeah, so I didn't
Well-
even make it into the later block to try to qualify into the main event anyway. So, kind of ironic or surprising. I'm not really sure what the word would be, but it's been an experience. Basically, it is to answer your question. I have learned a lot of things to work on, a lot of things to improve on. And I was talking with Greg about this earlier. We were talking about, playing in the qualifier has been a great experience because not only do you get to play against players that are exceptionally great, but players from other countries as well. So you get to meet a lot of other people, not just the players that you would
Yeah,
normally
you
play.
can see the flags
Yeah,
out there,
yeah,
how
you
many
know.
nations we have represented. It's like
it's-
15, 16, something like
I
that.
thought it was 16.
Okay.
I thought it was 16. It could be 15.
But
I'm
yeah,
not sure.
so it's very interesting.
Yeah.
You get a different perspective
Yeah.
than maybe the country club US croquet perspective.
Correct, yeah. And my first game in the block play here at this World Championship was a 4.5-hour game. So that was quite the experience.
That's a new experience for sure.
And I
Did you guys stop for lunch, tea?
No,
nothing.
we played from about 8:45 till God knows, damn near 1 o'clock, I think.
Woo. Okay.
So it was a long day, and I'll tell you what, I had never slept better that night in my life. So it was something.
It reminds me of the old adage from people that serve in the military. It's like, you want to know how I sleep well? It's like you do, like put on a 60-pound rucksack and do physical training, and then like go back and work 8 hours, and then do more physical training, and
Exactly.
you can fall asleep anywhere. Drop of a hat. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes usually more with GC than AC, but certainly with the sun out here, with GC, you can clock 10 miles walking in a day, and I think
easily.
here I was getting 16, 17,000 steps a day playing these block games. So it's not quite as athletic of a sport as people would think, but like there's an endurance quality
There
to
is,
being in
certainly.
85-degree Florida sunny weather for 8 hours or 4.5 in a row without a break, and then you spend the rest of the day. You probably had 2 more games that day.
I had 2 more games that day.
Yeah, that was just the first one.
Yeah, I think I might have finished around 5:20 or something that evening or something.
Yeah.
So, it was a grind, but I really enjoyed it. Again, my first world championship, so I was proud to make it. I know a lot of people didn't expect me to make it out of the block play. There were certainly probably people that you could argue were more qualified to make it out than I was. But at the end of the day,
They didn't have 4 wins out of 6 games.
at the end of the day, I had more wins. So,
Yeah.
so I was very, very happy to do that. And
Yeah, I
it's been
felt
wonderful.
like I was channeling you in the block play. I had scrappy, 2-1 day 1, 1-2 day 2, and then it turns out, I was actually, I was 3-3 going into the last game on day 2, and it turns out I had to win 4 in a row to qualify, which is like, the Jack Rush.
Yeah.
just gotta recover and do 4 in a row to make the knockout. So
as far as calling names, things like that, I'm okay with that. You want to call it the rush and just be like, hey, you got to win 4 in a row. I'll take that.
put it together.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
All right. Well, great. Do you remember what your longest break was? You take 9. Did you take 12 at any point?
No, my longest break was to 7.
Okay.
So it was
So
not
just
anything super impressive.
For our other viewers, it's kind of like running the table in billiards.
Yes.
You know, golf croquet, at most you're making 2 points in one shot, and it's extraordinarily rare.
Correct.
But in AC and American, the whole point is to get control of the balls and run the table, or as we call it, run a break.
Yes.
And so you had control of all 4 balls, I assume, for this break?
I did. I had to run
went
the first.
from 1 through 7 or just 2-7?
It was from hoop 2 to hoop 7, so I guess it was 6 hoops.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 6 hoops actually.
And
Excuse me.
all right, so you went through one back and gave them the lift.
I did.
And then promptly crashed. Did you crash right at 2 back for them?
To put it nicely, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that is frustratingly. It's that is transitioning from the first lap around the hoops to the second lap. So you go
Yes.
from the inner hoops to the outer hoops, and the break all of a sudden goes from smaller shots to bigger shots again.
Yes.
That is, I think that's why 1 back is a lift hoop, is because 2 back is a bear of a hoop to have control of. So was it right at their hoop 1 and everything? It was like
A couple times it was.
Yeah.
There was a couple times, and obviously I thought I could maybe make 2 back, and so I had a reception ball past 2 back, which is right by a block.
Yep,
And I
yep.
would fail it. I'm like, well, that's just fantastic.
yeah, a ball to hit and a ball at the hoop, just what they wanted.
They're like, there's your 4-ball break. I'm glad I could help you carry on.
Yeah, they're frustrated that you actually got a ball to 3 back. Like, I have to go way out of my way to go get that. Yeah, but otherwise, I'm sure they're happy. Well, 6 hoop breaks, nothing to frown at. You said only a couple months. Reminds me of Mo Karem, who is an Egyptian golf croquet player of great renown. And he took up this game, I think, in July. But he has a lot of years' experience on you in golf croquet and,
He does.
general, touch. Although, rushes and croquet shots are pretty new. Where usually he cares more about where his ball ends up than where the object ball goes on a rush.
Correct.
But he put together 3 wins, which
That's fantastic.
I looked it up. There are 3 other Egyptians who have played in these world championships over the years. So he's not the first. A lot of them played in multiple world championships. And Ahmed El Mahdi, who is also a GC player of great renown, I think the world #1 recently. But he won the world's, I want to say, 2017 or something like that. No, 2016, 15. He is a world GC champion. He had gotten in his last AC Worlds he played, he got 3 wins in the block. This is Mo Karem's first AC tournament in the World Championships, and he got 3 wins in the block, tying the Egyptian record. So I'm a little scared for the players out there that have to compete with the shooting prowess of a top GC player who in his first try is setting records for Egyptian AC croquet.
That's fantastic.
We're very excited to have Mo Karem and his coach Salah Hassan here and see other golf croquet players take on these games.
Yeah, no, I mean, they definitely should. I was talking with a few people, and they say, I just like golf croquet. They said, they find AC, the board they use is boring. I think that's partially because they know if you're running a break, you're sitting and watching,
Have you been talking much to Blake Fields? Is that?
No. I know Blake Fields. We are not that close, but no disrespect to Blake, but
no, he also just likes to hit balls. He'll be winning all of his AC games, and he'll just be like, "This is so boring." And it's like, dude, you're really good at this.
he's very good. Is my
Please pay
understanding.
attention. He's like 8-1 with 3 triples, and he's like, "Oh, can we just play some GC?" And it's like, yes, but you should also finish this tournament that you're currently winning.
After the tournament is over, we'll play some GC.
But no, it's fun because this is a bit more of instead of the direct competition with your opponent like golf croquet, it's a lot more of you versus the court and then your opponent versus the court, and which I think is why a lot of the certainly the English and UK players love the challenging conditions when or demanding conditions, as Mulliner called these, where the hoops are not trivial, and you see top GC players missing 2-foot hoop shots and 3-foot hoop shots and not getting into the middle of the hoop, bouncing back off the hoop because of how firm it is. Which I'd like to, once again, as you can see Michael Albert there measuring the court, I'd like to thank Michael Albert, Omero and the grounds crew, Adam Peck and the hoop pounders and the referees and everybody who's been doing so much work out here. I think they got to sleep in today. They were only called to work at 7:30 instead of 5 a.m. like the last couple days. So thank them, our thanks and appreciation out to them for their tremendous work to make this such challenging conditions. How did you find that? You said, have you played other like American rules tournaments with breaks?
So I have played American rules. I actually kind of started with American rules first, and then actually went into golf croquet.
So in terms of American rules or AC, are these some of the most challenging conditions for a croquet game with croquet shots?
I would say these are very, very challenging. I'd say the only place I play that might be more challenging, I'm not even sure about that, was when I played the qualifiers at Chesapeake Bay in the 2024 GC World Qualifiers.
Okay, yeah, for GC. Yeah, I thought that made for very interesting GC,
Yes.
and I thought it would have been a horrible conditions for American or AC because, the hoops, the ground was even firmer than
Yes.
here. So those hoops would reject a 1 foot hoop shot, which is usually a successful approach in AC. Gets yourself a 1 foot straight on hoop shot. So when players couldn't run those in GC, it set off alarm bells in my head that this would make up for a horrible game to organize a 4-ball break and not be able to trust a 1 foot straight on hoop shot. But yeah, so for a croquet stroke game,
these
AC
are,
and American, these are.
I think these are definitely the toughest conditions I have played in. This is my first AC tournament, but I have played a handful of American rules tournaments. Never. Actually, no, that's not true. I did play a national championship American rules 6-wicket tournament here a few years ago.
Yeah, was it this tough?
We were using the super hoops. I actually felt they were a little bit easier than the quadways. I actually was a little bit thinking that the quadways would loosen up very easily. Here.
There on camera we have Franck, who is our
Franck,
executive director here. Let's see, Franck Mounier.
Mounier, yes.
So thank you, Franck, and all of the NCC staff for hosting us.
Yeah, but I was a little
Matthew
concerned
Essick, photobomb.
that. Oh, where is he at?
Yeah, he's over on court 7 over
Is
there.
he on
So
seven
he just walked in front of the flag camera to get his
did
ball, doing some practice
Oh,
on his
there
off
he
day.
is. There he is. I actually was pretty impressed on how well the quadways held up in the sandy soil here. I know Florida, very sand based, as you probably well know, and the hoops can loosen up a little bit easier.
It's only the entire state that is sand based.
Yeah. And so I thought these hoops held up very, very well. I was actually very nervous shooting anything at a bit of an angle, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Anything angled, I kind of thought twice about it. I ended up still shooting it anyway because, again, my tactical thing is not quite up to par yet.
Well, no, honestly, when you're the underrated player, you're an underdog in almost all your games, having qualified, it makes sense to play more aggressive.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for you to say, you know what, I should reset, let them take a ball off the lawn, and I will build a break from less.
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's not your game. Your game needs to be, if you're in front of the hoop, you got to shoot it. You're a GC player who's playing, an American rules player who's outmatched in terms of ranking.
Oh, by far.
You're supposed to be playing aggressive.
No,
the real trouble is when you want to play aggressive and maybe know that occasionally I should be playing defensive, and it just goes against, the last 25 years of my play where I've been the underdog trying to just make this shot and it's all good. But you're in that position where that's the right strategy. I have to work on it.
I was talking with some players from England, and they were saying, we were looking through the qualifier, saw your name, we were trying to find you, and we couldn't find you anywhere in the system. I was like, I had no AC games prior to the qualifier, so you were never going to find me.
Off the grid, Jack Rush.
You were never going to find me, so that's why. So
there you go, hiding in plain sight.
But at the end of the day, got to make it here, play some amazing players in some amazing conditions. So I am very, very happy being here.
Excellent. And so I hope you're going to play in the plate.
Yes. Yeah, I did sign up for the plate. I actually was just looking at, we have a lot of, it almost looks like, I didn't quite count it, but it looked like 30, 40 players playing in it.
Well, we had 72.
Yep.
Only 32 make the knockout.
So, yeah.
Could be 40. Some players opt not to play in the plate. I can understand that if you have 2,000 games or 1,000 games under your belt and you're like, I'd rather see some things. But a lot of the players who even have played a ton, they've been to West Palm Beach before.
Yeah.
And they came here to play croquet, It's like Stephen Mulliner was out there practicing. He's in the knockout, but he was saying, I didn't come here to not play croquet, which is a fun double negative. But effectively, he's excited to play croquet.
Of course.
You can see walking out there between lawns to the NCC sign. That is Rocky Smith.
Oh, yes.
So thank you to Rocky and Elaine Smith, our assistant tournament managers. and
Yes,
Jeff
yep.
Sue, our tournament manager.
Yep.
Maybe Jack can help me with some of the thanks to our great organizational staff.
Yep, as Ben was saying, thank you to those guys and ladies who have made this tournament possible. We'd also would like to thank Bev Cardo and Dylan Goodwin, Tom Cooper, helping us with our media and marketing, being able to bring this live stream to everyone around the world, being able to share in this awesome event with us. I would also like to thank Chris Clark, being our tournament referee, doing his great diligence out there, walking between the 3 courts. And we've had some other referees out there, David Maloof and a couple other players, referees, excuse me.
Yeah, I know.
One of them,
Chris, Simon, Greg. There's a great staff, and it's a pretty tough job. They're out there
Yes.
in the sun most of the day, and as David Maloof was, venting that you're watching a game, trying to wait for an exciting turn, but then you have to go and ref another shot on some other lawn, and
Yes.
you come back and you miss the exciting part, and you have no idea what happened. So you don't even get to enjoy it as a spectator because he has to be pretty vigilant to catch
Yes.
whenever somebody has a mallet in the air. So
we had
thank you for their time and using their experience to make sure that we play the game by the rules.
Yes, and we'd like to thank the staff at NCC. Also, we mentioned the Amero and the grounds crew, but also the food and beverage staff as well. Sandy James Productions, supplying the food for us for lunch. Supplying drinks for the
Yeah,
players
that's-
if they'd like any as well.
Sandy James, Fine Foods and Events. And I Do Live Streams. That is idolivestreams.com, helping us with this wonderful footage that we're getting for you. I also want to read an ad we have here for Tertiary Colored Balls. Haven't played a wrong ball in a while? Try Tertiary Colors. Which is your partner? Who plays next? Questions arise with tertiary balls. Teal, aubergine, orange, gray. The grape colors versus smoke and fire. Why not confuse everybody in your club with tertiary balls? Not available from most ball manufacturers. But we'd also like to thank the great support from the W.P. Carey Foundation. And if I can look it up, they say, doing good while doing well. They have supported this event, as has the Palm Beach Sports Commission. So thank you for their wonderful support so that we can be here and get all the signage and all of the equipment needed to run an event of this caliber. I know that the USCA and the NCC had to do a lot of work to make sure that everything was ready at what is a little early in the season here. So usually it's just growing season in Florida. They don't have to get the lawns in shape, till a little later. Maybe they'd have the 8s or a Nationals or something, late October or November. But this is early. And it's hot. And they got their pro Zach down here early, and Omero and the crew are doing great work. So thank you, everybody, including the Croquet Foundation of America that actually owns and operates the NCC, the National Croquet Center. And we thank them for donating the lawns to the USCA so that we didn't have to fundraise to pay lawn fees to use these wonderful 12 lawns for the event. And thank you to the Beach Club, who even took down their normal 3 undersized lawns and turned it around. So we had 2 full-size lawns to play, and that allowed us to move from, I think, 64 to 72 players.
It did, yes.
So Jack, I think, specifically may have benefited from getting a couple extra spots from the qualifier.
I did. So my many, many thanks to the Beach
All
Club
right,
for doing that for us as well.
Yeah, tip your hat. Thank a Beach Club member.
Yes, and thank you. We had Eileen Sue, I think, was over there managing the Beach Club play over there.
Yeah,
so
double
big
duty.
Thanks to her.
I think she was refereeing and managing. Did you
Was
get?
she refereeing there also? Oh.
I think so. I didn't go. Were you at the Beach Club at all?
No, I was never at Beach Club.
I think
was here.
3 of the 8 blocks. So
I think it was
whatever.
A, B, and E. I think were the ones
Yeah,
over there.
37% of the people got to play there. I know I think some of the consolation events might be there. I'm not entirely sure. There's been a bit of a change into whether we have the main event all here, or originally I think the plan was to send 1 quarter to the Beach Club each day. But I think that's changed, which in my mind is great because you want to be able to see the other players play. You want to be able to scout your competition. You want people to be able to come to see the playoffs and not find out the person they wanted to see is
somewhere else.
10 miles away. I really appreciate it all being here. It might add some difficulty to the plate organization. It might be like a plate block, but I actually spent some time with a Beach Club member, Allison Worthington, and she said, that they were happy to have us and that not a lot of people are down yet for the season. And those that are down, they're happy to see association rules. She wasn't really sure if any of them would notice the difference between, Robert Fulford playing Reg Bamford
Nope.
or like you playing, a Stephen Allen. So they're just excited for people to be using the lawns. And I think that they'll very much enjoy watching some plate play over there, or bowl or shield or whatever gets programmed over there.
Whatever's over there, I'm sure it'll be lovely to watch.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
time to
spot out on Palm Beach Island proper.
Yes.
And it's the beach club, so you cross the street, you see the beach, you can get a wonderful view of the Atlantic Ocean.
Great
which
spot.
we're a little bit landlocked here at the NCC, not far from the water, but
Not terribly far.
can't walk across the street to go see the beach the way you can at the beach club.
It would be a little bit of a walk from here.
Reminds me of the Formula One driver who I think, his car broke down in Monaco and he just walked off the track. And instead of going back to the pit, he just walked to the dock and got on his yacht because the race was over. There was no repairing the car.
Yeah.
And it was like, if the beach club, if you get knocked out, you could just, put down and put your mallet in the car, keep walking,
Just go to
and
the
just go to the
beach.
beach.
I love it.
Go straight from croquet to vacation mode in record time
That's
at the beach club.
Love everything about that.
But yeah, so it's a wonderful place, and thank you very much to the Beach Club members for having us there. I think that was partially organized by Bev and Randy Cardo,
believe so,
our
yes.
president and members at the Beach Club and the NCC, great supporters of croquet, and we thank them for their work, all the efforts they've done to make this happen. I know Bev has to have many phone calls and a ton of meetings and, get all of the emails and read all of the regs and everything to get these things done and sell all the ads to fund the program. So we appreciate her time and efforts.
All that work behind the scenes that we don't hear or see about, all those hours probably.
Right. And we have to, thank the supporters that she managed to get for this event. So if you'd help me with some ad reads. First, we have PFC Hoopmaker Mallets, custom mallets. The only way to score points is to make hoops. Use Hoopmaker Mallets. Make hoops, score points, win. Introducing the Formula One mallet, which I'm told has a 17% improved power transfer. Can't say that. Power transfer. From the old, alloy they were using. They've improved the metal alloy. Same end faces, same durability, better power transfer. PFC Hoopmaker Mallets, an official sponsor of the USCA and these AC World Championships.
All right. We'd also like to thank Oakley Woods Mallets for all your croquet needs. Don Oakley uses various woods to make mallets. It's all in the name. Oakley Woods Mallets, featuring the Arrow Mallet at croquetstore.com, official sponsor of the USCA.
All right, and we have White Tie Croquet. Dress to conquer, play to win. Windproof, rainproof, and SPF-rated sunproof white clothes for all the croquet players you know. Better-looking clothes make better-looking players. www.whitetieCroquet.com, an official sponsor of the USCA and these AC World Championships.
All righty. We'd also like to thank Invictus Croquet for players who refuse to play with anything less than the best. We build gear for players who want one thing: to win, stand out, and feel great doing it. Invictus Croquet blends precision and innovation for champions and everyday players alike. Featuring the RF Pro Mallet, Invictus Rise Mallet, and Invictus X Ball. Engineered to elevate your game, play unconquered. Please visit invictusmallets.com.
Yeah, so that X ball is what we're using for this tournament.
Yes.
Have you played with those a lot? Do you have those at your clubs?
So I don't have them at my club down here in Florida, up in Vero Beach, Florida. I did order a set for my club up in North Carolina in Cashiers at Cedar Creek Club. And my first time playing with them was at the Highlands Falls Elite Invitational this year, up in Highlands Falls, North Carolina. And I gotta say, it was probably one of the best feeling balls I've ever hit with my mallet. And then I actually ended up getting the Invictus Rise mallet that we just discussed in the ad there.
Okay.
And I've been playing with it this tournament.
All right, putting the whole set together. Invictus mallet, Invictus balls.
Yeah.
All right.
And I gotta say that I really like the way that mallet feels and plays. It's a great mallet. If you're ever in the market for a new mallet, I would recommend that one. I'd recommend really any mallet that feels best suits your game. But the Invictus mallet, I can wholeheartedly support, no doubt.
Yeah, and the RF Pro mallet, I think, is named for the creator, owner, producer, Robert Fletcher. So that is the mallet he plays with. But they look very similar. Do you know what the differences are between the two mallets that Invictus offers?
So I believe the RF Pro mallet is 3D printed, and I believe it's aluminum as well. The Invictus Rise, I don't think is 3D printed. They both have the faces are counter screwed in. They don't use glue in it, so they're all screwed in so they don't separate from the composite end face. Does not separate from the actual head itself. It's kind of the main differences that I know. The mallet shafts are
hard
all
to
carbon
break
fiber.
off the face if there's no glue.
It is tricky. If you can find a way to do it, I will be very impressed.
We'll see if Blake can do it.
If anybody can, it'd probably be Blake. I have hit with the RF Pro mallet. I actually do like that one as well. So again, both of them are very, very good mounts, and the Invictus Rise is pretty reasonably priced. I thought it was. The RF Pro, a little bit more expensive, but it's good enough for Robert Fletcher's. Maybe it's good enough for me.
Right,
for
yeah.
the rest of us, we'll find out.
Proof's in the pudding. He plays really well with it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Armando's or Michelle are interested in getting a camera on one of the other lawns we can talk about from afar. I'm sure people are enjoying our ad reads and this wonderful idyllic flag footage we got.
Looking at that empty court 6.
But yeah, so we can talk a little bit about kind of the format here going in. So we have a draw tonight to figure out the knockout. So I think we've almost determined all the spots in the 32.
I think so.
We might be waiting on David Fuller. If he lost to Stephen Allen, he might have another game to play against Stuart Lawrence.
Well, I know Joe King had 3 games to play today from my block.
Okay, so that might not be figured out yet.
Yeah, it might not be. I'm trying to look around and see if he's playing right now.
All right, so we have the 32 players, and the format for the AC, as best I could tell, I was looking at the sports reg again, which you can find on the WCF website. So this is brought to you by the World Croquet Federation, and on their website they have the regulations for everything, including all of the sports regulations for this event. We have the top 8 players by D grade will be seeded, and then they do kind of a random draw to fill in the rest. But they separate it. It's, 9 through 12 is randomized. But it looks like we might be done with coverage for the day. So look to Croquet Scores. Yeah, look to croquetscores.com to see the final results of these final block games and some of the plate block that's already started, or maybe there's the Manager's Invitational, kind of the Z event.
Yeah.
So you can look to scores on croquetscores.com. Looking for Croquet scores from a recent tournament? Look no further. Tim Murphy has created a resource for finding GC, AC, American rules, and even recent Ricochet Croquet scores at, you guessed it, croquetscores.com. So check there for the rest of the results today. And at 5:30 in 2 hours, we will be doing the live stream of the knockout draw to see what those random orders and swaps work out to be. So we know some matchups already. I believe world number 1, Robert Fletcher, retained his ranking despite losing a game or 2. All right, but then he will play number 8, who I think, can you see James Deeth still playing? I think James Deeth won his game. He was playing the Kiwi John Versey. And so if he won that, I think he was very likely to stay the number 8 in the world. Tom Balding passed him for like a hot minute.
Yes.
So if Tom gets the 8 seed, he would be in the same quarter as Robert Fletcher.
Okay.
All right, so 1 and 8. 8 is either Tom Balding or James Deeth, depending on whether that game against John Versey was worth 2 points or 1 in the rankings somehow.
I think James said he would get 2 points if he won, so he would leapfrog Tom by 1.
Okay, yeah, and that's really critical because being the top 8, you know where your spot is in the draw, and you play somebody from the bottom 4. Right. Being number 9, you get randomly moved around, which might mean if Tom is number 9, he's a random draw with 9 through 12, so he has a 75% chance of not having to play Robert Fletcher in his quarter. Yeah. So it's not that big of a downgrade to be number 9. It does mean he's playing a 3 seed, somebody from the 17 to 24 range.
Yeah.
So anyway, 1 is Robert Fletcher. 8 is probably James Deeth, although it could be Tom. There's always decimal points that we can't see on the ranking website. And then in that half will also be Mark Avery and Matthew Essick. So they are the 4 and 5. Yeah. So if the semifinals went to seed, or the quarterfinals went to seed, it would be Robert Fletcher versus James Deeth, and Mark Avery versus Matthew Essick. Down in the bottom half, we have number 3, Zach Watson, playing really well with 5 triples and 8-0 on his lawns.
Yeah.
My dark horse favorite. He's in the same quarter as number 6, Reginald Bamford. That's somebody you may have heard of.
Maybe a couple times.
And then down at the bottom, we have number 2, Robert Fulford. You may have heard of him. And number 7, Logan McCorkindale. And so, again, if things went to seed for the quarterfinals, which they rarely do, it would be Robert Fletcher versus James Deeth, Mark Avery versus Matthew Essick, Zach Watson versus Reg Bamford, and Robert Fulford versus Logan McCorkindale. So then they randomly draw 9 through 12, randomly draw 13 through 16, randomly draw 17 through 24, and randomly draw 25 through 32. But there's a very complicated procedure involving swaps and stuff. I'm sure Jeff will explain it to us all later because I obviously don't remember it. And we will see you then at 5:30. So once again, live from West Palm Beach, Florida at the Charles P. Stuber National Croquet Center. This has been the WNCC's coverage of the 2025 AC World Championships brought to you by idolivestreams.com. I have been Ben Rothman.
I'm Jack Rush.
And have a good afternoon.
All righty. Take care.